Stardate 22361.95. Today, we finally got to see a movie without J.J. Abrams. A movie devoid of lens flares, replaced with explosions and crashing ships. The crew... Huh?
Sorry, I'm back from the bathroom.
Yes, you are. Computer delete log.
Who are you talking to?
Nobody. Hello and welcome back to another midnight showing. As always, I'm Kelly.
I'm DJ.
And we just got out of Star Trek Beyond. This is really enjoyable. I mean, I don't know if is this the best one so far? I'm not sure if I could say that. But
I never saw the second one.
I mean, I love the second one, even with the 20 minutes.
Yeah.
the final 20 minutes, I understand everybody's problem with Into Darkness with a Tribble bringing Kirk back to life. I completely understand that. I think that is it is just stupid. But, I don't know, I kind of like that one a lot more, especially with the irony that it'd be the original Star Trek Enterprise versus the Next Generation Enterprise with the bad guy building that. I thought that was kind of a cute little thing. You know, there's plenty of cute moments inside of this one. I just don't know if it's the best, but I can make an argument for it. That's amazing.
I've never been a Trekkie. I know he has, at least for the Next Generation.
I have a Next Generation communicator pin that looks horrible. I forgot to bring it. I'm so pissed off. I will take a picture of it and I will put it in this review just to show that I have it.
I can recognize, just out of like jokes people have made about it, I can pinpoint maybe a couple jokes that I got, but I've never been much of a Trekkie. I've seen more episodes of the Next Generation than I have the original series.
Yeah.
And I do like Picard over Kirk, just because it's Patrick Stewart.
Well, not just that, but Picard actually stuck to, you know, the principles of the Federation. These were actually debates and philosophical things. Here, I'm sorry, Kirk, I think Voyager actually said it best, and yeah, that's really sad when Voyager says it best, but Voyager said, if Kirk or any of them were inside of the Starfleet today, they'd be thrown out.
Yeah, I think I prefer a younger Kirk over William Shatner.
Yes, I think that Chris Pine is better than Shatner.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Shatner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The most famous jokes of Shatner, you know, the pausing and Spock.
What? You don't mean
Spock.
Spock.
Those were like improvised moments where he couldn't remember his line, so he paused, and they stuck and somehow became either part of his character or part of his stereotype. I haven't seen the original series.
Speaking of things, I'd just like to point out that unlike the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, the first two, this one, the people who died most of the time were red shirts. I would just like to point out that I only saw 2 people who were not in red shirts die in this movie. Everybody else was a red shirt. I just like to point that out. It's just something fun, neat. There's a lot of little homages in this one.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear that Justin Lin really loves Star Trek, even if I'm not a fan of the original series.
Yeah.
I just get that out of the way. I am a Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine type guy. I'm not the fan of the original. I have a problem with older shows. It's not necessarily that they're worse or anything. It's just I have a hard time watching them.
I think you're in a minority for Deep Space Nine. I've heard so much hate for that.
Oh, no. Go on the internet. Everyone loves Deep Space Nine. The one they hate is Voyager.
Voyager?
I'm the one that says the Voyager is okay. It's okay. Don't get me wrong. It's not the awesome philosophicalness that the Next Generation was. It's not the really just awesomeness of Deep Space Nine. But it's not bad. It's not Enterprise. Enterprise is the one that I could actually say is bad. There are some enjoyable moments in it, but that was the one that was bad, even if I loved their opening song. And yes, I know I'm in a minority on that one too. Kill me in the comments. But it's one of the few things I can play on the piano, so... Sorry, let me get this right. So, yeah. Non-spoiler version, before we go into all the spoilers. I love this movie. It gets a must-see from me. This is probably going to be on my best list, unless something really, really good comes and knocks it off.
You can't take a recommendation from me. I'm not a Trekkie. I was very neutral to this movie. I didn't see the second one despite my dad watching it over and over and over again for a period of time.
Now you're gonna want to go watch it.
Just to see if there's anything to like fill in outside the whole 5-year mission thing.
Yeah, they basically are their own entities, which is fine. I love the fact they did that.
Yeah.
That it stands on its own. But yeah, so recommendation from you?
I'm probably gonna buy it eventually.
Yeah.
I know my dad was gonna want to see it.
So you're probably gonna go to the theaters again.
Yeah, probably not. So yeah, take his recommendation.
It's a must see. It's a great action film, and unlike the other Star Trek movies, which were like heavy duty action, this felt more like something that you would have seen inside of the original series. This felt like they're on a mission, shit went wrong fast, and now they're just all the action scenes, all the set pieces, they're very minuscule. I mean, they do some big things inside of them, like they crash the Enterprise.
Yeah, the trailer had the Enterprise like flying through the like swarm of bees, and it looked very CG. And my brother was, at this point, movies today, huge blockbusters like this are oversaturated with CG scenes, and it like doesn't look good. That's the way Independence Day was. I believe. I didn't see it.
That wasn't very good either.
And he said like it looks kind of dumb and like just kind of CG, but it was actually pretty good.
CG isn't the problem. It's the use of CG. When you're doing a bunch of space battles and things, absolutely CG. But like when they were on the ground and they were doing that the bike chase, the bike breakout, where Kirk has to distract everyone with those hollow reflectors, which I have a big fucking issue being a Trekkie on that one. I will get to that in a second. But, at the same time, you actually had Kirk on a bicycle filming in different areas, and it was just, the CG was only applied when the fake ones got hit. Basically, he came in on a motorcycle, and he had a bunch of hollow emitters called image refractors just flying around. I have a big fucking problem with this because, as I believe Voyager established, hollow emitters that work outside will not be invented until the 29th century. The only reason why they had one was because as a guy who salvaged a ship from the 29th century built one for the Doctor in 1996. Yes, that is kind of stupid. It's time travel. It doesn't make sense. But whatever. She has this technology. And they're mobile, too. Not only that, but they can like turn on and off in the middle of a fight so their enemies pass right through the image, then solidify, and start whacking them. I'm sorry. This is... What? Sorry, this is me totally geeking out because I know an obscure fact because I'm a fan of this series. And I think that if you do know little things like that, things are gonna be bad. I'm not really sure if it was the same ship, but there is one ship from the Next Generation that is considered MIA, or killed in action. Even the encyclopedias don't know what it is, know what happened to it. It's from one of the early episodes of the Next Generation, but I think that might have been the USS Franklin. It might have been.
Really?
Yes, I think that's the ship that went missing inside of the Next Generation series, because it gets brought up at the beginning of the episode, and it's like completely ignored for the remainder of it, and no one knows what happened to that ship. All they know is that it came to the same planet the Enterprise did. So was it destroyed by the same people that were attacking them, or did it somehow get away? No one really knows. Not even the official Star Trek encyclopedia knows. You buy one edition, it'll say MIA, missing in action. You buy another edition, it'll say it's destroyed and killed. I think that might have been a homage to this with the USS Franklin that they find on this planet. But yeah, basically the plot of this movie is they're 3 years into their 5-year mission. They're restocking at a new base called Yorktown. And they get a distress call. Well, not a distress call. A lady shows up in a small single ship saying that her whole crew was stranded on this planet that's across this nebula. So, of course, the Enterprise, being the only ship there, needs to go through the nebula because copy and paste every single Star Trek. There's a distress call. They're the only ones in range. Kirk has to go, even though the ship is broken.
Yeah, I would love to live in this, to live in Yorktown. It reminds me of something from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, the like dome world, or like the one from RPM.
Yes, Corinth.
This like secluded sort of world on its own.
Yeah.
It looked really cool. Or like the one from Guardians of the Galaxy. It reminded me a lot of that.
Nowhere.
With all the aliens running around.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
Literally hollowing out some ancient alien's head and turning it into a space station.
Yeah.
It's, they of course they have to go out. They go there through the nebula, and of course, just like every single nebula inside of Star Trek, communications are cut. Because nothing works in a fucking nebula in space. They get to the other side, and they're instantly ambushed by these aliens, whose ships, they call them basically bees, which, yeah, really does work. They don't have any kind of lasers or anything like that. They literally just ram themselves and start stinging the shit out of you. And they tear apart the Enterprise. You think that the torpedoes, they would have after firing one, they would have realized that they're just going to move out of the way, so set them like mines to go off after like 3 seconds after they've been shot off.
Yeah.
You'd think they would do something like that, but that's probably something the next generation and Data would come up with. Spock is too busy mourning other Spock. Which, yes, they actually do incorporate Leonard Nimoy dying, and they do a pretty good job. Letter. This is on par with Harold Ramis's statue inside of Ghostbusters, which, hallelujah. I'll tell you, you guys know how to do it. What's going to happen in the next one now that Chekhov's actor died?
I don't know. I thought he would have. So, the actor who played Chekhov actually did die.
Yes.
And he died in like a car wreck. He was like pinned. His like internal organs were pinned from between his car and the other one. And it's very tragic because he was only like 27. And I heard or I read somewhere that they were actually going to have him die because I didn't think they actually finished filming. And like the whole crew, led by Chris Pine, did like a whole memorial for the cast and crew. Mm-hmm. And it was really touching.
It's, yeah, I don't know what this means for the future of the series. I mean, would they be forced, like, studio mandate to recast him, or are they just gonna accept that maybe he died off screen inside of another thing and have that be a focal point of the story? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. Is there anywhere we can go with this?
Oh, there's plenty to go with this. I mean, they could bring in so many different aspects. And my phone's going off, meaning my brother's probably gonna need to ride.
That's great.
We'll get back to that in a second. But yeah, so the whole Enterprise is destroyed. They get crashed on this planet, and they meet a friend, Jalen, who basically hollowed out the remains of the USS Franklin, which had crash landed here. And they didn't even say what actually caused the crash. It could be any number of things.
Yeah, and I've said this. I don't know if I got it on video, but I've told him a couple times. She reminds me of like a dark elf from like either Hellboy 2 or Thor the Dark World, or like something Lord of the Rings could have come up with.
Yeah.
If she had like more pointy ears, it would be a dead giveaway. It bugs the snot out of me every time.
Maybe she's going to be inside the crew in the next one. No, because there was one missing character inside of this movie. The established person from Into Darkness. The Admiral's daughter, who literally did nothing in that movie. She's the one that you see inside of her underwear in all those shots that keeps getting made fun of. Because, of course, we have to have a sci-fi film where we have some scantily clad women.
We have the green chick that Kirk keeps sleeping with.
Okay, this time it wasn't Kirk that was sleeping with him. It was Chekhov that was sleeping that was getting kicked out. Which I thought was hilarious, by the way. But yeah, I mean, there's great homages. Like when the Enterprise is crashing, the saucer actually crashing is almost a shot-for-shot recreation of the saucer section crash from Star Trek Generations, which is by far probably the best part of that movie. Seriously, it's just beautiful. But yeah, it's just, oh my god. There's so many moments like that where they didn't want to just throw it in your face like Captain America Civil War, that they recreated the image from the cover of Civil War, Cap holding up his shield with Iron Man blasting it.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't stop the movie and like go all 3D to show, yeah, we can do this. No, in this one, they just did it, and it looked beautiful. You wouldn't know what they're actually doing unless you've actually seen the other ones and pay attention to them, like me. But even from someone like your perspective, who probably wouldn't even recognize that.
I thought that's what they were doing, because the only way I'd seen Generations, any of the Star Trek movies really, was from the Nostalgia Critic.
Yes. In which I still have big problems with them and their words on insurrection. It was not that bad. You want to call that one the worst? When we have shit like Star Trek V. Really? But yeah, it's, you know, it knows when to homage and when to do its own thing. This is like the exact opposite problem Ghostbusters had. I don't mean to do this by ragging on Ghostbusters, but it's like the easiest example to like compare this to. Because Ghostbusters, every time it tried to do its own thing, you had like the producers or the makers saying, no, get back here. You gotta do it just like they did in the old movie. Nope, we gotta recreate it, and we're gonna do
chart guys.
The chart guys.
The chart guys.
In this one, they basically shot the chart guys and filmed this movie while they were stunned. Because
what the chart says.
What we say. And Simon Pegg was right. The trailers do not do this justice.
Yeah.
This was more of a thought piece. The action pieces are definitely there, but it's definitely more of a thought piece. There's a lot of questions brought up about the directions that everyone's going.
Yeah, the only time you could see like an invisible checklist was when they're doing homages to the original series.
Yes, which brings up another plot hole that I mentioned before. I just want to put it on the camera though. So, yeah, Nimoy died, and they do actually acknowledge that, and that's a really big part of Spock's character inside of this movie. At the end of the movie, he's going through Nimoy's personal belongings, and he finds a picture of the original crew. All of them inside their uniforms, all, beautiful.
Yeah. It's
a great touching moment, but I can't help but think, where the fuck did he get that picture? Because if I remember correctly, from the first one, he was captured and thrown on an ice planet with nothing but a coat. In fact, that coat wasn't inside of his personal belongings. I would just like to point that out, too. Where the fuck did he get this thing? I mean, the other ship was destroyed, and I'd assume that most everything that was on that he had personal belonging-wise was on that Red Matter ship or confiscated by the bad guy whose ship got sucked into a black hole, which is still yet to show up. That would just be hilarious if there's like, inside of the Star Wars movies, a black hole opens up inside of one of the later ones and that ship comes through and they just shoot it. That would just be hilarious. I know it's just basically the joke that they made inside of how it should have ended, but yes, I want them to do that. There's moments like that that are just really good, but there's just nitpicking side of me, and that's all this movie is. It's a great movie. It's engaging on more than just the I have a penis level. It's engaging on more of a thought level that the characters grow in this movie.
Yeah.
They change. And it's the first time that you can actually say that inside of a movie like this in a long time. I'm really glad that I saw this, and I can recommend it to everyone. I just have those little nitpick moments where I'm just like, wait, what? No, step back. How are you using 29th century technology? You can't do that.
Is there ever a movie you don't have a nitpick moment? Like a good movie, I mean?
The Boy and the Beast. Mamoru So's new anime movie. It just barely came out on DVD. It was one of those ones I wanted to go to Vegas to go see, but never just had time to go do it. But yes, there's another recommendation. The Boy and the Beast by Mamoru Soda. Go buy that movie. Just go. Go. Be free. I really don't have anything else to say except for gushing about how awesome this movie is. Visually, it's stunning with actual practical effects thrown in.
I loved the makeup, especially on the villains, the bad guys in this movie. That looked amazing.
Although I will say one thing, there was one bad special effect.
Oh, really?
One. When they beam Kirk and Jalen on the motorcycle before they do the whole escape section of it. When it starts out, it looks fine, but then they pan the camera over, and this horrible CGI model is like casually bumping here. And it was like, you needed to put that through the render queue a few more times. Just a few more times, because that didn't quite leave the uncanny valley. So there is one bad effect. I'll say that. One bad effect. But yeah, the rest of it is great. I don't want to spoil anything else, so I'm just going to say, hey, go see it. It's must see. It's an easy 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
And it'd be a 10 out of 10 if not for those nitpicks I have problems. But come on, 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah, that's better than what most movies can get.
Yeah. So yeah, you got anything else?
That's it. I'm good.
Alright, so yeah, that's it for us. Be sure to like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitch and Twitter, follow him on Twitter too. We've got
one thing I do want to add, however, if there's nothing they can squeeze out of the original series and they make a reboot of The Next Generation, if James McAvoy doesn't play Picard, I will be sorely disappointed.
Please do that. I would actually love that. But he'd have to shave his head for yet another role.
Exactly.
Alrighty, so yeah. See you all next time.